Hey, good morning. This is Clayton, and on behalf of Operation Rock, my hat fell. Oh man, that sucks. Yes, my hat did fall, people. I got these damn scars on my head, so I can't even get a haircut yet, people. Even though people keep telling me I don't need one, I think I need a haircut. But on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, I am here today to talk about intimate partner stalking and domestic violence, which unfortunately I have become very experienced in within the last 2 years of my life, 2.5 years, almost 3 years, because I have been stalked by a woman named Francyna Evins from Staten Island, who has used litigation. And what I mean by litigation is family court processes, criminal court processes, excuse me, the filing of false reports, police reports, which in New York are called domestic incidents reports, the filing of false family court petitions for orders of protection, for violations, etc. People, I've been through it every sphere of domestic violence you can imagine. Physical, financial, emotional, and social. I have been a victim of all of it. And I was angry, very angry in the beginning. But now, people, I'm at a point in my life and in a point in my domestic violence journey where I'm angry, but my anger has turned to a point of education and advocacy. Because I'm not the only person this is happening to. There are millions of people out there suffering at the hands of intelligent offenders who learn how to use law enforcement as the weapons that they need to hurt the people that they once cared about. What they will do is they will utilize racist or biggest police forces or law enforcement systems. They'll utilize personal relationships and personal connections to amass an army of like-minded people who want to destroy you against you to hurt you. And honestly, in the beginning, it can feel incredibly overwhelming, especially if it's not something you're used to as someone who is dealing with people who are coming after you. But people, the end of life is not the beginning of someone else's abuse. No, you can live past someone else's abuse. You can learn what you need to do the fight. You never rely on law enforcement to protect you. They will not. Law enforcement serves their own self-interest. And although they are there to protect and serve people, most of the time they're not. Most people who work in law enforcement are there for the career aspects of ascension that come with the job, so they can make more money, have a better lifestyle. Being a cop or being a district attorney is about ascension. It's not like you have your own practice where you're running your own business, getting private clients. No, you're being paid by the state to perform a job. The same thing with the cop. It's not like the cop is a private investigator or working in security. No, people. He's a law enforcement officer who's mandated to work a certain amount of hours a week, gets overtime, and gets paid. So the path for law enforcement officials is ascension, and they get ascension by doing their job, what appears to be their job on paper, getting prosecutions, arrests, etc. But people, they're human beings, and being human beings in the nature of ambition and self ascension, they do things that are wrong, and they do things that are incorrect. They are humans. This is human nature. No one is perfect, people. People do make mistakes, and people do evil things intentionally to I would say aggrandize their own position. The purpose behind Operation Rock, people, now is my vision is quite clear. The purpose behind what I am doing is to educate people like me on how to fight corrupt prosecutorial systems and offenders like my offender Francyna Evans, who has used nothing but litigation and harassment tactics to socially slander me and drag me back and forth in the court. People, a lot of this was my fault because in the beginning I got angry. And I was so angry and so hurt by the things these people had done to me, people, that I lashed out. But people, as a minority male, and I'm not even going to say just a black male, because this applies to Hispanics, this applies to Chinese, this applies to anyone who is not of the establishment. You will be a victim. You will be overlooked. You will be marginalized, people, because if you're a minority male, they do not want to empower you with the same rights they afford to minority women. It's always easier for people to take over a race of women than it is men. So by keeping the men of a nationality, subjugated beneath them, this is how the establishment keeps dominance. Now, yes, there are a lot of African Americans and a lot of minorities now in law enforcement, but they still serve the establishment, which is controlled by the people who I am speaking about. People, I'm tired. I'm tired of watching people like me suffer because of corruption in prosecution offices, because of negligence with police. People, this is wrong. People are suffering every day, and I'm realizing that I'm not the only one, but I am someone who can stand up, articulate it, and say something about it. My track record shows people that the litigation abuse and the corruption I'm speaking about has happened. It's not me lying. It's not me making it up. It's not me being someone who just needs to create some drama. People, if I could honestly get out of this situation, I'd get out of it right now, people. As I've shown my audience, I tried to drop criminal charges against my offender several times. Not for myself, people, simply because I knew putting this person through this would be something that would damage their life, people. And that wasn't my intention. My intention was just the peace to be left alone, which I have been denied since the day that I tried to be, I would say, since I tried to have enough maturity, people, and since I tried to have enough forgiveness to allow this person to go on with their life without being criminally prosecuted. And people, I have been totally victimized for doing the right thing. But women cry, men fight. And I'm a man, people. I'm not going to keep crying about it. I'm not going to keep begging these people who are doing wrong to me to do the right thing. I've decided to go civil on them. And the only reason I never went civil on my offender is because she's broke. People, I'm not trying to put encumbrances on somebody's broke who has to use their life. People, she has no money. What do I look like suing her in civil court? For what? For an order of protection? People, I already got one. What? For my dog? I already got one, people. I don't need to sue this woman. I didn't need to criminally prosecute her, people. I tried to drop the charges. But the vengeance and the hate in her heart was so great, people, that she still continues to pursue me, knowing I did nothing to her. Because now she needs to save face amongst a bunch of fake and corrupt people in her local community who she lied to and did all of this insanely sick stuff to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been falsely and maliciously portrayed as a diagnosed schizophrenic. And I have never been treated, assessed, or evaluated for schizophrenia. But unfortunately, I have a very estranged relationship with my father who also happens to share the same name as me, as I unadvertise myself as a junior. I don't put junior behind my last name because of my relationship with my father, my own trauma. But this woman hates me so much that she goes and she illegally obtains the criminal records of my father to use them because we have the same name, to convince people of crimes she knows that I wasn't even arrested for. Because people, my estranged relationship with my father also extends from the fact that this man has used my name and date of birth to get out of situations with the police, to which I have had to fight for as his son with the same name. Because this guy, being the person he was back then, used my name when he got into trouble in Manhattan and things like that. He would use my name and date of birth, as the system wasn't as digital as it was back then. So, people, I have a lot of trauma with my father for things he did to me wrong. And this woman, in her capacity to be evil, dangerous, and malicious, actually got the domestic violence records of my parents from splitting up, which is another reason I don't speak to my father, and his arrest records, and tried to portray them off to the public in family court like my dead mother had an order of protection against me, when it was actually my father of the same name, and that I'm a diagnosed schizophrenic, which again, people, is embarrassing because it's my father of the same name. So, people, as they say, the sins of the father have now weighed upon the son who had nothing to do with the sins of the father, who is now being socially bashed by a woman who is obsessed with him and being falsely diagnosed and accused of being a paranoid schizophrenic. People, why has no one stopped and stood with me to stop Francyna Evins? What is it going to take? What is going to have to happen to truly make this girl stop stalking me and leave me alone? I don't know. But people, I filed an $11 million lawsuit against the Essex County Prosecutor's Office. I'm suing these people until they do what is right by me. I am not looking for trouble. I'm looking for justice. I need this woman to stop stalking me, to stop socially slandering me, and to just move on with her life. There is not this much love in the world, people. And I'm going to say it. This woman never loved me, because someone who loves you, someone who truly loves you, would never do what this woman is doing to me, which is lying, using the police to try to ruin my life, and doing everything in her power to destroy me, my name and my reputation, hoping that I'll never get a woman she feels that is good as her, that is as good as her. People, this girl is 35 years old and has never had her own place, never had her own car. She is completely at the behest of her mother and her grandmother as a 35-year-old woman. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted a woman. I wanted a woman I could come home to and say, hey, babe, you want some dinner? I wanted a woman I could take out and she would appreciate it and be able to represent me as a woman in public. Not a scared little girl afraid to get on a plane and acting like she's lost in an airport because she's never been on a trip by herself because her mommy and her grandmama wrote a letter. People, I wanted a woman and I got tired of not having one. So I ended my relationship with Francyna Evins and went on to move my life. Ladies and gentlemen, help me stop intimate partner stalking by stopping Francyna Evins. Thank you for listening, and this has been another great broadcast.